Whether you love her or hate her, it cannot be denied that ever since Kenya Moore stepped onto the scene, the Real Housewives of Atlanta has turned the petty drama and juicy scandals all the way up. For that reason, she has always been good for the show. But even still, there are so many people who do not want to see Kenya Moore on the show at all. Hello Housewives fans, it's Justin Diego, and I am back with another binge-worthy video. If you are a Kenya Moore fan and you rep Team Twirl, it may be about time that you prepare yourself for the worst, because reports are surfacing about her being booted from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and where there is smoke, there is always fire. I've honestly been worried about Kenya all summer, and I'm gonna tell you guys exactly why. There's so much going on the show, it's honestly gonna be hard to keep this video short. As always, be sure to like this video, comment, let me know what you're thinking, and subscribe, of course, to this channel for more juicy binge-worthy videos worth sharing. The new season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta that starts Sunday, November 5th on Bravo will be the show's 10th season, which means we have been watching these Atlanta housewives for almost a decade. Whoa. That's why it comes as no surprise that there are going to be a lot of changes this time around. First of all, Carlos King, the long-standing executive producer of the show, stepped down on the tail end of last season, and there is a new HBIC. He's been working on the show for a while too, and his name is Michael Beck. So far, he's been pretty cool to me, and although keeping these girls in check is probably way harder than any of us can imagine, I think he's gonna do a really great job. But with any great change like this, that means the show is gonna take a new direction because the person who's spearheading the whole thing is going to have a vision of their own. Okay, let's talk about Kenya. I'm sure you've already heard by now, but over the summer, Kenya Moore ran off to this beautiful island with this mystery man that we now know is Marc Daly, and actually got married. We've been watching Kenya on this show for so many seasons, and she's searched for love over and over again, and the one time that she finds it, well, you don't get to see it, like, at all. Well, since she's on a show called The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and for so long she's been not a housewife, and finally is a housewife, you can imagine why it's a pretty big deal, and why Bravo is probably so pissed that she did this to begin with. Can you imagine how the call went? Hello?
Hello, Andy. It's Kenya.
Kenya, I already told you I'm not gonna fire Portia. What do you want?
It's not about that, silly. I met this guy, and I fell in love, and it's gonna be so
Yeah. Awesome. Are we gonna be able to film it for the show?
Andy, I gotta call you back. I'm about to walk down the aisle. I'm getting married.
What the f? Now, I know in real life she is a grown woman, she's a beautiful woman, and she deserves love. I'm not saying that she doesn't. All I'm saying is there are countless hours that go into telling her story, and they've told her story for so many years, and everything just really has to make sense. It's a reality show, for crying out loud. Take a look at it from that side of the business. They have spent so much money, guys. Like, these women make millions, not to mention all the money that she's made from having products like Kenya Moore hair care on the show. That cost. Also, we deserve good TV, and we've been watching her on the show, and we've seen her date Walter. We've seen her last season with all that craziness with Matt. I think that in terms of good TV, the people who's watching really deserve to have a story that at least makes sense. And not to mention the questions of legitimacy that this raises. One of the things people love to say about shows like this is that they're scripted or they're fake, and Bravo fights really hard to keep the integrity of their shows. That's why Kenya running off and getting married off camera was such a beautiful thing, and I'm so happy for her. But as it relates to the show, I think that it was selfish, and it was probably a decision that she's regretting right about now. One of the things that can keep you on this show and that can make you relevant enough that they will deal with your mess on this show is for you to have like a really powerful friendship like Phaedra and Candy, or like Frickin' Frat, or like Cynthia and Nene. And Kenya has been an incredible villain, but unfortunately she's burnt like a lot of bridges. So are there even any friends left? Nene's back, and we already know how fast Cynthia switches up when Nene's back in the picture. So she can't really hide or like get away from the whole marriage scandal and like piggyback off of friendship, because there's nobody that's really like legitimately rocking with her except Cynthia, and Cynthia's just unavailable. Cynthia's divorced her damn self, and she has to look out for Cynthia. And the best thing she can do for Cynthia is to bring back Cynthia and Nene. Now, let's talk about this girls' trip. Over the weekend, if you had been paying attention, things got real fast. Every year, there is a girls' trip where the ladies show off their fabulous bikinis, and we almost always end up with some iconic new drama to wrap up the season. Reportedly, all of the ladies were invited to the all-cast girls trip except Kenya Moore. When this story leaked, I originally didn't believe it because, it is an all-cast trip. And if you're relevant at all to the show, you're gonna be on the all-cast trip. And if you're not, that's a pretty big deal. Well, later, despite my reservations, it became pretty clear that for whatever reason, Kenya was not there, like at all. Kim was also absent, but we all know how Kim usually dips out on these trips anyway, right? Well, that's when the rumors really started to pour in, and that not only did she get disinvited, but she had in fact lost her job. Reportedly, this was because she and her husband Marc Daly are unwilling to be cooperative with some of their filming requests. Or in other words, he ain't about this life. Like, he don't like the show, he don't like what it stands for, he ain't trying to be on here looking crazy, he just trying to show some love to his new woman. In an anonymous statement to thejasminebrand.com, reportedly, producers are paying her a massive salary to share her authentic life with the viewers, and she refuses to do so. She will be fined by not getting paid for the girls' trip episodes. She's going to be phased out of the show. That's a bit much. Now, in true Housewives fashion, Kenya Moore posted this subliminal post on her social media that obviously was intended to be her response to the rumors that she left the show. And if you watched the trailer already, you already know that things have already gotten pretty intense between Kenya and some of the cast, as many of them have questioned the validity of her marriage. And when Wendy Williams caught word of this, she had no mercy.
I can't keep up. I thought she was already gone. Anyway, if Kenya's not on the show, I don't know anything else that she does. Come on. Come on, you all. If this is in fact true, that they're really married, I admire her for sticking to her guns. Yeah.
Here are my final thoughts. I agree with Wendy on one thing. If this is Kenya's way of putting her foot down and doing what's best for her marriage, I applaud her. I am here for it because she deserves love like everybody else, and when the show is long gone, Marc will be there, keeping her warm and cozy at night. My only problem is she should have showed us the foolery. I don't think they will fire her, guys, but this wouldn't be the first time that Bravo snatched a peach to prove a point. So, I'm sure Kenya will at least be a friend of the show. Do you want Kenya back on the show? Is it weird to you that she didn't allow the cameras into her wedding? Did she leave us hanging? Are you okay with that? And was it that serious to fire her? Like, I'm reading your comments, guys, and I love to hear what you have to say. So go ahead and comment below. Tell me what's on your mind. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to subscribe to Binge-worthy. Now for more Real Housewives of Atlanta tea. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.